Welcome to this Friday edition of the Evening Review. My name is Sohane Klache. Joining me in studio again is Boro Dungula from Their Blood Waters Our Freedom. But before we jump into our interview, please have a look at today's newspaper.
Paratus VSAT provides the remotest homes, farms and lodges with reliable and cost-effective connection wherever you are. Backed by a professional team with 24/7 support. Unlimit your connection anywhere, anytime. Visit na.paratus.africa for more information.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Boro, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you for having me once again here on your lovely program.
Yeah, no, we had a chat last year when you came for the group Their Blood Waters Our Freedom.
Yeah.
And one thing I found is, as far as children of the liberation struggle are concerned, why is it that there are these many splinter groups from NECA?
You see, what you need to understand is as much as we are all from exile, we never had the same upbringing. We had different upbringing, because you must understand that as much as we are all NECA members, there are 3 generations here within the NECA. There is the first generation of exile kids that were born in from 1973 up to the 79. That is the first generation. And these are the kids that actually understood and lived the whole exile lives, to the extent that some of them, they even went through the bombings and other stuff, you see. Then we have another group that is now from the 1980 up to the 1985. Yeah, also these ones, they know what happened in exile. And then you have the ones that were born between the age of 1985 up to 1989. And this, we simply call them as exile babies. These are the people that haven't seen much of the exile lives. You see, so they were really small. So these are the people that are making up the NECA group of exile kids. And so it shows that we all, as much as we are all born in exile, we all have different interests as to who we are and how our upbringing is, because when you look at some of the exile kids, they have not really much suffered when it comes to their exile lives, because they grew up living in Luanda, and also some of them, they were in Sweden or in United States or in Europe. But then when you look at the category like us now, we are the ones that are suffer the most, because when you look at the exile kids, some of them are the kids of the diplomats, some are the kids of the politicians. But then you look at the category like us now, it's the category of the children who are the children of the people who are now soldiers. So as children of the soldiers, we were born in the SWAPO military camps. We were born in the SWAPO civilian camps. So what happened is that now, like some of us now, when it comes to the situation where there were, for instance, bombings in the camp, because when the enemy used to come to bomb the SWAPO military or civilian camps, so also we, the children, also were also in the action when the activity was happening, because when you look at the category like people like me, and we are the people of the soldiers that died for this country, you know. So we are in fact a category that we like for ourselves now, when you call we call ourselves as their blood orders our freedom.
Yes.
We are another category of exile kills, because we are the ones that, when we talk about those whose blood orders our freedom, we are the children of those people, you know, because when we came here in Namibia, we did not come here on our own, but we were brought here by the Namibian government. And how we came to be here is not because we came here on our own accord, but because we were brought in a country, because we were told that this is a country of your parents, and our parents are the ones that are normal, are the ones that die in the liberation struggle for Namibia's independence. Because you have to understand that when it comes to the war is a very traumatic experience that I don't wish that a lot of people can go through it, you know, because we were born in a war zone, not because we wanted to, but because of the circumstances. Our mothers and fathers, they left Namibia to go fight for Namibia's liberation. So it so happened that we were born in a war zone, and as children. And imagine sometimes you have South African soldiers or UNITA troops that were coming to bomb you, to bomb your camps, and you are a child, maybe you are age 2, 3, 4, and you see these type of things happening around you. So this is a very traumatic events that we went through as such. So
that led to the creation of their blood waters our freedom.
Yeah.
But Boro, the issue I want to touch on is you've got the mother organization, NECA.
Yeah, NECA, yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got various groupings under NECA.
Yeah.
Does it seem to suggest that NECA is not fighting or advocating for the rights of everybody as it should? Because you know, you would have this group forming here, you would have that group forming there, and one would assume that it's out of discontent. Is that a correct assumption?
Yeah, no, it could be, because no, as much as we expect NECA to address a lot of issues that is concerning the children of the liberation struggle, NECA's mandate is strictly related to try to bring, because the founders of the NECA, I think it was who's the lady, Raquel.
Yes.
When they founded this organization, they just wanted to bring together the children that were born in the liberation struggle together, and to write about their history, about their exile lives and stuff like that. But then people or the children that were born in exile, they expect more from NECA than what NECA mandated to do. You understand? So as such, that's now where you see different organizations or different groups that are coming up, because they want NECA to be able to do certain things that NECA don't have a mandate for that, you know. So this is now where the whole discontent issue is coming from. But we as organization, as like the one that we have set up as War Offense of Liberation Struggle, we understand that NECA, as much as we want NECA to be able to do most of the things, but looking at the NECA constitution and its mandate, we see that some of the things that we want NECA to do, it's beyond their mandate. Because now look, the NECA issue, they are dealing with the issue of the children of the liberation struggle. And as an organization, NECA is registered under the Ministry of Youth and Sport, you understand?
Yes.
So in another way, it means that NECA is an association that deals with the issue of the youth of liberation struggle. But now when it comes to our issue is way different to the issue that NECA deals entirely with. Because our association, which used to be called Their Blood Waters Our Freedom, but then we had to change the name to Association of War Offense of Liberation Struggle. Reason being because when we went to introduce our association to the War Offense, to the War Veterans Association, they were not happy that we chose the name Their Blood Waters Our Freedom, because they said that Their Blood Water Our Freedom is already a motto of their association. So they have requested us that we need to change the name of association from Their Blood Waters Our Freedom to Association of what? Of Liberation, Association of War Offense of Liberation Struggle. And our association is not there to represent the interests of exile kills, because we don't want to be in competition with NECA, but our association is there to represent the interest of the deceased war veterans.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because what is happening here, it paints us as the children of those whose blood waters our freedom, when during the liberation, when during Kasinga Day, Independence Day, and also the
Heroes Day.
Heroes Day. People are busy praising our fathers and mothers, how brave they were. But then when it comes to the issue of what has been compensated for the disease, we see that there has been some kind of injustice. So our organization, it feels that there hasn't been much done for those that have died for the liberation of the country. Because at the moment, even if when you look at the Veteran Act, it specifically is only catering for those that fought for the liberation of this country, but that have survived. You see that these war veterans, they got a lot of benefits that comes with the Veteran Act. They get housing, they get projects, they get payout for sums, and they get all those kinds of benefits. But when it comes to this is war veterans, people that are in fact recognized for having fought for this country, to this far there has not been much that has been done for the
the orphans of the
no,
war.
there hasn't been much done for the war veterans.
Okay.
And as children of those people, we want to address the issue to say that, please, some fairness here.
Okay. Boro, your association now.
Yeah.
How is the interaction with the mother body SWAPO, firstly?
Yeah.
Secondly to that, how is the communication or the relationship with the Ministry of Defense and Veterans Affairs?
No, it's very poor. And it's very poor in a sense that, look, as war offense of the liberation struggle, you must understand that not everyone that was in SWAPO was on the good side. There were also people who were also accused for espionage, who were killed by SWAPO.
Yes.
And some of these people who happen to be our mothers and fathers. And they think that we don't know, but we have information, and we know these type of things, that some of our parents, as much as we are being told that they died in the liberation struggle, they were killed by SWAPO on a suspicion that they were accused of being spies for South Africa. So we understand these type of the things. But now when we want to come close to SWAPO, because SWAPO are the people that actually know about our mothers and fathers, because let me give you, for instance, within our organization, we have people who do not know who their mothers are or who their fathers are. But we know that within SWAPO, there are certain people who know these people's mothers and fathers. But now when we come to approach now SWAPO to say, please, we want to come to discuss the issue of about our paternity, about who our parents are, the people are trying to shy away from us. And we know why they are shying away from us, because when you look at some of our, some of the children, some of them, they look just exactly like their mothers and fathers that they have been killed by SWAPO. So for this matter, we try to always to reach out to the SWAPO leadership to say, we want to meet you and talk to you so that we can address some of the things that we want to know. You understand? Because we cannot go to government and ask, who is our mother and father? We have to go to SWAPO. Because mind you, what you need to understand and to know is that when our mothers and fathers, they went outside in the exile, when they were fighting there, the enemy, they were fighting under SWAPO leadership and their command. So as such, we feel that we need to go to the SWAPO people and approach them and have a discussion with them about the
paternity.
issue.
About paternity.
You understand what I'm saying?
And then, Boro, there was a recent book that was, if I understand correctly, you grew up in the former Czechoslovakia.
Yes.
And obviously there were a lot of children of the liberation struggle that would have grown up in communist part of Europe.
Yeah.
And others that grew up in the West. Now, speaking about your example specifically, there was a recent book that was released on the experiences of children of the liberation struggle pertaining now to communist Europe. There seems to be an element of controversy attached to that specific book. Why do you think that is the case?
Yeah, you see, what was happening in exile is some of the things, is things that have been done in secret. And
such as?
Such as now, like us now. We were children, we were about, first group, we were about 56 kids, went to Czech Republic. And then the other group, I think they were about 64 or 65. They went to Slovakia. You see, we went in 1985 from different camps of Angola. Some came from military camps of SWAPO that were in Lubango, others in Jamba. Then some of them, they came from civilian camps that were in Zambia and also that were in Angola. And we were taken on a secret SWAPO mission to Czechoslovakia. So the book is actually just documenting about certain things that have been not told and about certain events that happened to us as children, but we kept really secret, because what you need to understand, what the book is documenting is saying that we were selected. We don't know how we were selected. We came from different camps, but actually this way I understand, according to the book, is like the then SWAPO President Sam Nujoma has approached the Czechoslovakia embassy in Berlin, whereby he requested that he wanted to take out some SWAPO or Namibian children who were living in SWAPO camps in Zambia and Angola, and they were under the threat of the South Africa. Because when you were living in refugee camps where we were living, civilian or military camps, any day you could expect South African or UNITA soldiers to come and bomb you. So Sam Nujoma, he was like, he wanted to take now the children out of the
sort of create a safe haven.
Yeah, so he approached now for that matter now the Czechoslovakia government through their embassy in Germany, where he requested that he wanted now the Czechoslovakia to take some SWAPO children from Angola and Zambia.
Yes, you touched on that.
For education into Czechoslovakia. So when he approached the embassy, he said that the program would be for the war orphans. You understand? Meaning that it's now the children that have lost their mothers and fathers in the fight for the liberation struggle. So that's now how we came to be that they have selected now about 56.
When you ended in Czechoslovakia, you went there on the premise of education and that there would be a safe haven.
That's what we understood.
Did you find it to be the opposite?
Obviously. You understand? Because when we went there, we thought that we are going there for the education, but when we got there, it so turned out that it was more than just education, because it was more about the indoctrination of us into turning us into becoming good socialist guys, and also in preparing us for that matter, because the issues here is that, like, no.
But that's an element of education.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the whole issue here was to turn us, because when we were born already, we were born for the purpose of being soldiers, you understand? So we were now the very first children that were now being indoctrinated into the SWAPO ideology, socialism ideology, but with the purpose of also turning us into the future leaders of the Namibian nation, but also preparing us to become soldiers of the Namibia liberation struggle. So we were sent there with the purpose of training us to become soldiers, so that one day after we finish, because our motto in SWAPO when we were there, it was about study, work and fight. So we were being brought up to become soldiers. So if you look in the history of Namibia, they were not really child soldiers, but for that matter, you can look at it to say that we're the very first child soldiers for SWAPO, being prepared to come to fight for Namibia liberation.
This specific book, do you believe that it can open a Pandora's box?
Yes, obviously it will, because when we went to Czechoslovakia, we did not know who our parents were, or whether our parents were alive or dead. So reading this book, you will be able to pick up a lot of information that people did not know, did not want us to know about, you know, the information that they were hiding away from us, you know, because when they took you there, they don't even tell you whether your mother or father is alive, you know. So when you read the book, you'll be able to pick up some of the information that people did not want you to know about, you know. Because when you look at the life that we had in exile, or the way how the people were living in exile, it was a very, very difficult life, you know. So you must also understand that when you read the book, you will be also realize that some of us, as we are here, we could be also be the children of the rape product, you know, meaning that the way we were created was because also it was because of the rape. Because when you look at the life in exile under SWAPO, there was a comment that the ladies, they need to be impregnated and they must produce children so that these children in the future they become soldiers. So that was us now. And the way we were created, it was not really through a romantic relationship whereby your father proposed your mother, but some of these things were really done in violation of human rights, whereby maybe a commander or a chief grab a lady here and here by force and then have sexual intercourse with her. In that process, that lady becomes pregnant, and then you become the product of that, you know. So these are some of the things that you will be able to discover once you really read that book thoroughly.
Okay. Boro, in closing, given now what is contained in the book, given what you experienced in the former Czechoslovakia, and given the conversations that you're having with SWAPO, what is your appeal to the SWAPO-led government and specifically to the party to address the needs now of the children of the liberation struggle, such as yourself?
Look, what you need to understand, all the children of the liberation struggle, when they came here in Namibia, they did not come here on their own accord. They did not come here because they wanted to. We were brought here by SWAPO, you understand? And the reason why we were brought here by SWAPO is because some of us, we don't have mothers, we don't have fathers, and our mothers, as I speak now, their remains, they are still lying there in Angola and Zambia. So our appeal to SWAPO, and especially also to the Namibian government, is like, no, there is no point you are singing every day about whose blood waters our freedom, but you don't have respect for the dead. So what you are requesting our SWAPO and also our Namibian government is to have the respect for the dead. And the only way you can have for the respect for the dead is if the Namibian, the government or SWAPO can really consider the issue of looking into the issue of the struggle kids. Because what is happening, it's not good, because these struggle kids, they didn't come in Namibia on their own. And by the way, these struggle are not just kids of any foreigners. These are the children of the people that died for this country. So what we are requesting is that they really need to look into the issue of how they can really finalize the issue of making sure that that there is a solution towards now the struggling life of the children of the liberation struggle. Because now the issue of them struggling is not something that started now. It's something that started from 1990. Imagine you are bringing kids into the country. You know that they don't have mother. You don't know that they don't have mother. And you yourself, you know that where is their mother and father. You know their mothers, they died fighting for the Namibia struggle. So when you bring them here, you see what the reason that they are suffering and the reason that they are struggling here is because they don't have mothers, they don't have fathers. And where's their mothers and fathers? Their mothers and fathers, they are there buried in Angola. So what we as an organization and as students of the liberation struggle, what we are requesting our government is like, look, we are also human beings, and we have remains of our parents that are buried in Angola and Namibia. So we have been always these years requesting the SWAPO and the government to look into it as to see how they are able to go repatriate the remains of our people and bring them and bury them here. We have seen that the government has tried, because when you look about 5-6 years ago, they brought about 5 remains of the most renowned heroes of the Namibian liberation. But that's not enough. We are looking at the number of 11,000.
Okay. So you want the repatriation of about 11,000 bodies back into Namibia?
Not really 11,000, because you know when
but in closing, Boro?
Yeah.
Because we are running out of time.
Yeah. In closing, it's like that's what we want, you know. But the people are not really 11,000, because it's 11,000 people that died in the liberation struggle, But now out of that 11,000,
As much as you can, as much as can be repatriated.
you understand?
Thank you very much, Bora.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the Evening Review. Do enjoy your weekend. Good night.